There is something mystical about water. It covers 70% of the Earth's surface, yet we don't know how it got here. What man has done is to give water a history. Nowhere more so than in Plymouth Sound, where a seafaring nation defended its own shores while also setting up an empire. The tale is best told in a 4-mile walk along Plymouth's coastline, which begins near the Royal William Yard, which once supplied the Navy with its victuals. The yard's gradual rundown can be traced back to a defence cut in which sailors lost their rum ration. With the December temperature at 0, our walkers could do with a tot or two themselves. In the Navy's heyday, these streets were inhabited by admirals and doctors. 93 Durnsford Street being the surgery of Sherlock Holmes's creator, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who was his own Dr. Watson. Plymouth may have been too elementary for the great detective writer, for he soon left town and moved to Portsmouth. A far more permanent fixture in Durnsford Street is the Royal Marine Barracks, home to 3 Commando Brigade. The Marines were first stationed in Plymouth 250 years ago. At the bottom of Mill Bay Road lies the Great Western Docks, which used to be full of ocean-going liners before German bombers and post-war air travel put paid to its prosperity. Like much of Plymouth, the docks are a work in progress. But what the dockyards built for the Navy has not been forgotten in Plymouth. Models of famous fighting ships have been mounted on a promenade called Rusty Anchor Seawall, which leads out onto the city's Grand Parade. Here our walkers leave the coastline to see one of the city's classic sights, Plymouth Hoe, which is forever associated with the buccaneering Sir Francis Drake. According to legend, Drake played a game of bowls here while waiting for the wind and tide to change before sailing out to confront the Spanish Armada. Thanks mainly to the weather, the Armada was defeated, and from then on, Britannia ruled the waves. She continued to do so until the 20th century, when 2 world wars brought the country to its knees. Like the dead in Plymouth's dignified Garden of Remembrance, British naval supremacy is a glorious memory. By the 1940s, military power was coming from the air. Plymouth learnt this the hard way when the Luftwaffe reduced the city to rubble. Successive waves of post-war reconstruction have struggled to restore its former glory. But not even the German bombers could destroy this 17th century stone fortress. The royal citadel may have lost its original purpose, but it is still imposing. The Barbican has an even longer history. It's now the fun-loving part of Plymouth, full of yachts, nightclubs and restaurants. But it also has the oldest street, which dates back to Elizabethan times, when our early explorers set out to create an empire. And almost without exception, they did so from Plymouth Harbour, sailing off to found colonies all over the world. The most famous of these voyages is that of the Pilgrim Fathers, who left England on board the Mayflower to settle in America.
Quite a remarkable bit of history. Right from the old to the very, very new.
Today, Plymouth seems more concerned with what is going on beneath the sea. Standing watch over the harbour is a monster prawn, while in nearby Coxside, the National Marine Aquarium has found a home. One of the highlights in this aquarium is an acrylic tank, which is the size of a 3-story house, where the smaller fish share their warm seawater with sand tiger sharks. Belatedly, perhaps, we're learning a different kind of marine history, how to manage the oceans we once sought to conquer.